they'll be day to day. I mean, we've got a little bit of time with them, which is fortunate on our part. So we'll be smart with them this week. Don't think it's anything long term with either one of them, but we'll just grind it back to recovery, and probably fortunate for us we're not playing this week.
What have you seen kind of from the guys starting this week, bouncing back from Saturday?
It's been good. Two really good practices. We got after it last night. We got after it this morning. I mean, they certainly present in the way they work that they believe in what we can do, and that we can get a lot better, and that this team's got some really cool opportunities in front of them. So everything I've seen on the field and just attitude, morale of the guys has absolutely been that. I mean, I think they're very aware of what happened Saturday, and very aware of the opportunities coming up.
What's sort of the goal for the bye week?
Say it again.
The goal for the bye week?
Just keep getting better. I mean, there's a million goals. We've got some goals, kind of for each unit. We've got some goals as a team, and then one thing we're big on is goals for every player on the team individually, not just in a generic improve. It's specific details for every player, things that we want them to get accomplished, and we meet with every player. We go through it. We set the goal. We set the plan for the week, and then we expect it to get done. So we need to be a much better football team and a lot of better individual players when we get back on Monday.
We talked about Josh Fallow and how when you first saw him, you wondered why he hadn't been more productive in his size and everything. What was your first conversation with him? Was there kind of any kind of challenge or directive that you kind of pushed him?
Well, I mean, like a lot of these guys, I didn't know him at all. You could read quickly on a bio about his history, and the first thing that struck me when I met with him is he took a lot of ownership in the problems that he's had, and the reason that he maybe hadn't made an impact. And sometimes you get guys in there and everything it's everybody else's fault but theirs, right? Why they hadn't had a really good career, or things hadn't gone their way. I like that he took ownership in the beginning. He admitted that there was a lot of things in his career that he hasn't done well, and we both identified and recognized that if you're ever going to do it, like, this is the time. Like, there's never going to be another shot. And so it's been good to see him, stick with it, especially after having some injury and some medical issues in spring, missing a lot of that. And he's hung in there, and I mean, everybody saw the 2 touchdowns. Those were good plays, but I mean, he played really, really well the other night. He had one of the best performances when he played on the football team.
Nick Figueroa had a lot bigger role this past game. What in particular have you seen from him recently that kind of led to that bigger role?
He's been productive in his reps up to this point. Some games he's played a lot. Some games it's been more of a kind of a reserve role, but he's been very productive. And we felt like he was a good matchup in the game the other night, and we're continually trying to find those best lineups and get guys out there that are going to be productive. I mean, that's. We're not looking for guys that are just happy to be there, right, and just excited that they're out on the field, because you got to be out there with the intent to make a play, and he's been like that for us.
Taj Washington had a couple of key blocks for you guys on Saturday. Is that something you can kind of foresee him being more of a part of in the future and just helping you guys?
He's been awesome. He has. He's one of the most valuable players on the team. And what he does on special teams, all the different roles he assumes offensively, we can do anything with him, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
We've talked a lot about the tackling issues from the other day. How do you balance trying to clean that up this week with also trying to get guys healthy?
There's no balance. We got to clean it up. It's if we're healthy but not tackling well, it doesn't matter. So, and that goes for any fundamental, right? Like we're not going to be out here coaching scared to get somebody hurt and sacrificing getting better for that. That's just don't work. So when we understand that it's a physical game, guys are going to get dinged up from time to time, but we got to get better for things we got to get better at. So there's no sacrificing. We're going to work the what out of it, and expect to do it a lot better here in the next few games.
I know Relief was banged up for a little while at the start of the season. Anything in particular that you'd like to see from him kind of going into this second half?
He's growing as a player. He's making some mistakes. He's making some big plays, like you would expect. We want him to become certainly more consistent with schemes and what we're trying to do. And I think he's learning that. I think he's getting a lot better. Typically, young guys, second half of the season, you feel it, and we're going to need several of them to step up, and I would put him in that category.
You mentioned throughout the season when it comes to pass interference penalties, sometimes you just tell the players that they did everything right and can't do anything about the call. Is there a difference when it comes to roughing the passer penalties?
Not really. I got asked about that on the radio show last night. Not really. I mean, I'm glad. The way it's officiated in the NFL, to me, it's a whole lot tougher. college football is very clear, right? If you don't hit them low, if you don't hit them in the head, you don't hit them late, you don't lead with the crown of your helmet, it's not pass interference. It's very easy. We absolutely coach them. We've had a few this year. Romello had one earlier in the year. Somebody else had one earlier in the year they definitely were roughing the passer, and we coached it and what we did. We'll put those two up from the other night and tell them to do exactly what they did every single time.
I think that late touchdown was Michael Jackson's first catch of the season.
Yep.
What led to him getting in there in that little spot?
Jordan was down at that time, and Mike was next man up, and we had a lot of confidence based on what we've seen on the practice field the last several weeks that he was going to make the play. So really, there was zero hesitation, and it was awesome. It was cool to see him step up and make that play. I think he's got a really bright future here, and but we didn't think twice about calling it or doing it. It was an easy decision.
You talked about previous teams of yours going on runs off of tough losses. What does this team have, or what have they shown you that makes you think that they can do something like that?
I think just the morale and vibe and closeness of this team. I mean, you get tested in a different way when you lose one, especially the way that one played out, and it sends you one of two different ways. And everything I've seen of this team up to this point leads me to believe that we'll handle it in a way that'll bring us closer together and make us even better. And now we got to go do it. I mean, feeling that and thinking you're capable of that's one thing. Going and doing it's is another, because even if you go rally and have great practices and morale's great and all that, it's still going to be hard as hell on Saturdays. You just do everything you can to put yourself in the best position to go win a fight and win a struggle on Saturdays. That's the nature of this beast. So, but I am confident we've got a group that can do it, and now we've got to go put it into action.
Let's do one more.
There's been a rotation at inside linebacker. What's the thought process behind that? Is it just injuries or whatever?
I mean, it was opposite when Shane was out, but we feel like we've got several productive players there. Several guys that all of us, Coach Odom, Coach Granch, myself, we all have confidence in, and guys that I think have shown they deserve to play. I mean, obviously, Eric and Shane have stepped up for us in the year. In Shane's absence, obviously, CV and Raylan have done some really good things as well. And so, I think it's like a lot of positions. We've got some guys that certainly deserve to play and that we want to play. Some of these guys have big roles on special teams as well. And it's been good to have that depth, because, like I said, you take like Washington State game where Shane's not there, and production really doesn't suffer any. And so, it's a good room right now, and we're going to need them all here in the closing stretch.
Thank you, Coach Riley.